What is good, good people? You are now listening to another episode of Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. I am your humble narrator, Danny Foxworth, and this past Wednesday night, I got to make a childhood dream come true. I bought a ticket for the Price is Right Live that was at the North Charleston Coliseum. Once I saw that they were coming to the Coliseum, I immediately jumped on those tickets. And this past Wednesday night, that was one for the books, just scratching things off my bucket list. And if you know me, you know I'm big on making my inner child happy. So it's moments like that that just really, I'm really glad I took the plunge and attended this event. So got to the Performing Arts Center. There was already a line wrapped around the building. So what they do is, if you haven't registered online, you go to another line and register, and then there's a on the side of the building, there's tables set up, and they have the tags that like the ones that you see on the TV version of The Price is Right. And as soon as I saw that yellow tag, I was smiling so big. I'm like, man, I'm really about to live my childhood dream. And they asked me my name, and I was like, Danny, and he wrote it, and it's like, put it on your left side, and you can just wait in line. And as soon as I put that tag on me, it's like it was like it was like a core memory unlocked. And I was like, man, I'm actually going to be a part of this crowd. I'm actually going to just take this moment in. And when the gates open, or excuse me, when the doors open to the Performing Arts Center, everybody was walking in, and seeing everybody decked out in their Price is Right gear. It was beautiful. It really was a beautiful thing. So I got to my seat and getting to chop it up with the people sitting next to me. I was on the corner aisle seat, and just seeing everybody come in, everybody waving, just talking and waving to complete strangers, and everybody was just as happy as I was. It was probably about 16 or 1700 people that showed up. I mean, it was great. And so as the show is about to start, the curtains are closed, and the announcer, he comes out first, and he's just like getting the crowd involved, doing some call and response stuff, going over the rules of the game. Because the rules for The Price is Right Live are a little different from the televised version of The Price is Right, which he gets into. And so he shows a video talking about the rules and stuff. And you couldn't take pictures or capture any video. And so when he brings the host out, I mean, it is like you get chills. Like the hairs was standing up on my arms, because it's just like what you saw on TV, except it was in real life. And I mean, everybody was just up and cheering and making so much noise. I was so overwhelmed, but it was overwhelmed in the best way possible. And so the host that came out wasn't Drew Carey, obviously, but it was a guy by the name of Tim Newton, and he was just a master host. He's so great at what he does. So the rules for the Price is Right live shows are, they will pick out four people to and tell them to come on down. And once they guess the item that's up for bids, whoever guesses the price closest to the actual retail price, of course, they get to walk up on stage and play the game. But after that game is done, instead of the other three people that got called down, what happens is they all get a complimentary shirt, and they're all sent back to their seats, as well as the person that got up there to play the game. So after that, what they do is they'll call four different people down there to come on down. And like the first lady, I think her name was Lexi. I think she was from Wadmalaw Island. And she played the first game that came out with was Punch a Bunch, which is like probably about 36 holes with the paper covering, and you punch a hole through the paper through four. Out of those 36, you punch through four holes. And of course, the host, he'll pull a card out of the hole that you punched. And in that card, it's the amount of dollars that you win. So first hole she punches, he picks the card out, she wins $500. But with Punch a Bunch, if the next card that she pulls out, the next card he pulls out, if the dollar amount is lower, then automatically that's the dollar amount that she ends up with. So she have $500, and then the next card that she punched that the host pulled out was, I believe, $300. So instead of 800, it went down to 300. And they was asking her, do you want to? I mean, you could possibly lose more money based on the remaining two cards. Do you want to keep playing? And she kept playing, and eventually, after the fourth card, she ended up walking away with $300. And then after the $300, after that game is over, what they'll do is they'll call another random name. And they want a prize pack after the show. It's like a bag, a hat, and a T-shirt. And then somebody else, they draw a random name, and then that person wins a $25 Amazon gift card. So the second game, we got 4 new people that came down, and the person that was closest to the actual retail price for the item up for bid, he got up on stage, and I think his name was Joe. I can't remember what his occupation was, but he got to play Cliffhanger. And man, that was so cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got goosebumps whenever they pulled the Cliffhanger thing out. And it's just so different seeing it in real life and hearing the yodeling. So he had to guess the correct price for 3 items. And whatever the difference was between what he guessed and the actual retail price, that's whatever the number, the difference amount is, that's the amount of numbers that the man goes up the mountain unless he overbids and he just falls off the mountain. And the man actually he was able to guess the amount of all the 3 products without the mountain man going over. So he won a trip to Costa Rica. And that was super cool to see. And so again, the other 3 people, they get their shirts, and all 4 of them, they go back to their seats, and they give out another $25 gift card. And then after that, they do a really, really good tribute to Bob Barker. And it was just showing footage of him throughout the years. And it was such a warm and heartfelt tribute, because this man he was such an integral part of my childhood. And just reminiscing and seeing past episodes and thinking about watching it with my grandparents, because that was their go-to show every time I was over there. And so after the tribute, they do the big wheel. But with this, instead of the people that went up for Punch a Bunch and for Cliffhanger, instead of them playing for the big wheel, they just threw 3 new people up to come up on stage to spin the big wheel. And the people that won the big wheels, they were the ones that ended up going to the Showcase Showdown. So it was this older Black lady. She ended up winning the big wheel, the first edition of the big wheel. Then after that was done with, they closed the curtains and took a 15-minute intermission, just getting up, stretching. And then once the 15 minutes were up, and they opened the curtains back up, and they called 4 new names down to come on down. And I think the item up for bid, it was like a mini pizza oven with like some kind of cake stand or something. I can't quite remember. And the lady that guessed the actual retail price, well, that was closest to the actual retail price, and she won that. So she got up on stage and she played game was called Checkout. So she had to guess with Checkout, the objective is you have to guess the price of the 4 items, and you have a target total price, and it's a $2 range. So the target price was $23.25. So her total, based on the amount that she guessed, can either add up to it can be either between $21.25 and $25.25. And she hit her mark. And not only she won all of those four prizes, she ended up winning a brand new refrigerator and a year supply of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Then the next contestant, like after all four of them left, then they brought four more people down there. And oh, what was the next game they played? Oh, they played Plinko. And before that, one of the ladies that got called, there was an older black couple that sat in front of me, and the wife, she ended up getting her name called, and she's just super excited, arms flailing and stuff. She was so excited. She tried to do the double high five with her husband and accidentally smacked him dead in his face because she was so excited. And at first he was like, man, he was jumping up, and I mean, he was super happy for her. I mean, I thought he was going to run down the aisle with her. And he was like, that's my wife. That's my baby. She got called up. She's like, that's my baby. And then he turns around and goes back to his seat, and he turns around. He's like, man, she smacked the shit out me. He's like, got his face, grabbing the side of his face with his hand. Oh, it's hilarious. But after Plinko, then they did the big wheel again and called three more people out of that crowd to play. And the lady and then it was another lady that ended up winning the big wheel. So then that lady and then the older black lady I talked about that spun the big wheel the first go around, they met up at the end for the showcase showdown. And it was a real good treasure trove of prizes that they were giving away for the showcase showdown. So it was a trip to Vegas, a trip to Rome, an 85-inch flat screen, and with a home theater system, and it was like a Hyundai SUV. And so both of them had to put their bids in to guess the correct actual retail price. And both of them ended up overbidding and walked away with nothing. But even after that happening, the host was like, even though both of them overbid, he was like, does anybody want that trip to Vegas? And crowd's going nuts. He was like, so what we're going to do is we're going to call a name, and whoever this name that we call gets the trip to Vegas. And he pulls his card out and he announces, he gives the person's name out, and they won the trip to Vegas that was in the showcase showdown. And that was the end of the show. And man, it was really cool to watch in person. And I think I said it before my IG reels, but I would give that experience out of a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 28. And I would do it again and again and again. And if the Price is Right live tour ever pulls up into your town, do yourself a favor, make your inner child happy, and go experience that, because that was such a super cool thing to experience. And I cannot wait for it to come back to Charleston. And that's been another episode of Since We Last Spoke. Make sure you like, download, and subscribe. Tell a friend about the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can find me at Danny Foxworth 843, where you can find all the video versions of all the episodes for this podcast, as well as my other podcast, At the Plate with Danny Foxworth, which is centered on baseball. And thank y'all for listening once again. And until next time, y'all be good. Peace.